What if the feeling that ruined your day was never real, just a flashy trick your mind performs to keep you hooked? Be honest. One text and your stomach drops. One name and your chest locks like a vault. One glance in the mirror and the day is already lost. You say, "I'm fine," but your hands tell on you. Your sleep tells on you. How many mornings have you woken up already defeated by a feeling that didn't deserve that kind of power? In the next 60 seconds, we're going to pull the mask off your emotions, and you may never fear a mood again. Here's the betrayal. The body fires first, the story shows up late. Heart sprints, throat tightens, and then your mind slaps a label: panic, shame, rage, doom. What if it's the label, not the sensation that strangles you? What if the storm isn't the sky, it's just your umbrella flipping in the wind? You've tried everything to control yourself: silence, sugar, scrolling, prayers, pills, pep talks. It works for an hour, then the same wave returns, wearing a different mask. You don't need stronger walls, you need a key. Today we go straight at the dragon. First, I'll show you how feelings are manufactured, not sacred. Then we'll expose the fake me that emotions keep kidnapping. Finally, you'll learn 3 soft moves that can disarm any mood in under a minute. Your big reward, a pocket ritual called One Breath Freedom. Use it at the sink, in traffic, mid-argument, or at 3 a.m. When the dark grows teeth. If one breath could return your power, would you take it now or keep bargaining with a lie? Stay with me. By the end of this video, the storm may still make noise, but it won't own your sky. 1. The factory of feelings. How your body writes the script before you speak. What if your body decides your mood before you even know what you're feeling? A Zen master once told his students, "The mind is the last to know." One monk laughed, another frowned, and the master simply pointed at their faces. Proof enough. Your heart races, your stomach knots, your breath shortens, and only then does your mind scramble to attach a story. I'm anxious because of that meeting, or I'm angry because of what she said. But what if the sensation came first, and the explanation was just your mind catching up, desperate to make sense of the electricity running through you? Every emotion begins as a body whisper, so quiet you miss it until it's screaming. In a monastery high in the mountains, there's a ritual before dawn. The bell rings and the monks walk silently to meditation. One novice admitted he often arrived already irritated, not because of the bell, but because he'd been shivering in the cold. The abbot smiled and said, "So it was your skin that was angry, not your heart." The room erupted in knowing laughter. How often do we let a sensation in the skin or a twist in the gut become a full-blown storm in the mind? Your body can trick you into chasing feelings that aren't even yours. Neuroscientists find that anticipation, not the event, often triggers the strongest chemical surges. The reward system floods you before the prize, pulling you forward. Think of checking your phone. The tingle starts before you even see a message. Ancient teachers saw the same pattern. The Buddha called it the spark before the flame, and taught that if you can witness the spark without feeding it, the fire dies in your hands. There was once a farmer who feared the sound of wind in the bamboo, certain it meant a storm was coming to ruin his crops. For years, his body leapt into alarm at the faintest rustle. One evening, a monk invited him to sit among the bamboo in stillness. Hours passed, the wind sang on, and no storm came. The farmer returned home laughing. It was never the wind. It was my fear echoing back to me. Maybe your worst emotions are just misread signals. This is why, in mindfulness practice, the first step is not to fix the feeling, but to locate it. Where in the body does it live? Is it heat in the cheeks, a drop in the belly, a weight in the chest? When you see it as a moving sensation instead of a solid identity, the walls of "I am angry" or "I am afraid" start to crack. So here's your micro practice. The next time you feel a wave rise, pause and name only the sensation. No story, no why. Tighten the throat, buzz in the arms, heavy in the eyes. Let that be enough. This is not denial. It's reclaiming the moment before the mind paints the sky black. Because if we can watch the sensation without drowning in it, the next question is even more radical. If I can see the feeling, am I the one who's feeling it? That's where we go next. 2. Who is feeling this? The disappearing me. If you can watch the feeling, are you the feeling? Imagine sitting quietly and anger rises like a sudden storm cloud. At the same time, another voice inside whispers, "Calm down, it's not worth it." Which one are you? The one who burns or the one who observes the burning? The Buddha often spoke of the 5 aggregates: form, feeling, perception, mental formations, and consciousness as the building blocks of what we call I. None of them is permanent. None of them stay long enough to be a solid owner. Maybe you is not a fortress, but a window. In an old Zen tale, a monk was sweeping leaves in the courtyard. A young student shouted, "Master, I feel so restless today." The monk kept sweeping, then said, "Restlessness is here." The student frowned. "No, I am restless." The monk paused, looked up, and replied, "If you were the restlessness, who is hearing my voice right now?" That question stayed with the student for years, until he realized the I he was defending was just a passing guest. The me you protect may just be a stage actor, switching masks without telling you. Modern research suggests our minds operate through multiple modules, each with its own priorities. One module wants to rest, another to fight, another to please others. Whichever module is loudest in the moment takes the stage and says, "I'm you now," and we believe it, until another takes over. That's why you can sincerely promise to forgive in the morning, and by evening, be sharpening your words like knives. There was a layman who came to a Zen master, frustrated that he kept breaking his vow not to gossip. "I decide every morning to keep my mouth pure," he complained, "and by afternoon, I'm spilling poison." The master laughed. "That's because morning you makes the vow, and afternoon, you doesn't even remember he exists." This is why the self feels slippery. It's not a single ruler, but a rotating council of moods and instincts. What happens when you stop identifying with any of them? In meditation, you start to notice feelings, thoughts, and impulses like actors entering and exiting a stage. Some play villains, some play heroes, but none are truly you. You are the stage itself, untouched by the drama. And here's the paradox. The less you cling to one identity, the freer you are to respond wisely in any role life asks you to play. Freedom isn't about controlling every thought. It's about not being owned by any of them. Think of the last argument you had. In the heat of it, you felt like the angry voice was you. But the moment after you cooled down, you thought, "Why did I say that?" This gap is proof. There is an awareness that sees even your own words and regrets. The Zen masters train to live in that awareness, not just visit it after the damage is done. Next time a strong emotion grabs you, instead of saying, "I am angry," try "Anger is here." Instead of "I am sad," try "Sadness is visiting." This simple shift can open a tiny space, a breath, between you and the emotion. In that breath, you're no longer a puppet. The puppet only dances if it believes the strings are part of its body. When you see the strings, you can choose dance or simply rest. And this is where Buddhist practice becomes a rebellion, not against life, but against the illusion that you are whatever emotion currently fills the room. Because if you are not the storm, then why does the same storm keep finding its way back to your shore? In the next part, we'll expose the bait and hook that pull you back into the same emotional traps, again and again. 3. The bait and the hook. Why you keep taking the same emotional traps. If you've escaped the cage before, why do you keep walking back in? You've seen the pattern, the same arguments, the same regrets, the same late-night anxiety that swears it's different this time. But it's not. There's a design to it. Emotions have a built-in bait and hook. The bait is the promise. This will make you happy. The hook is identification. This is who you are. Once you bite, the reel starts turning and you're pulled under. The bait always tastes sweetest before you swallow it. A monk once told me about his teacher's strange rule. If you feel the strongest urge to speak, remain silent. If you feel the strongest urge to act, stand still. Why? Because in the peak of craving or rage, the bait is brightest. Like a gambler's flashing slot machine, the thrill is in the almost, the moment before the win. Neuroscientists call it the dopamine spike of anticipation. The Buddha called it the thirst that can never be quenched. There was a fisherman in an old village who prided himself on catching the fattest carp. One day, a wise traveler asked him, "Do you know why you catch the same fish in the same spot every week?" The fisherman shrugged. "Because they never learn?" The traveler smiled. "No, because you never change the bait." Our emotional traps work the same way. The flavor may vary. Today it's fear. Tomorrow it's pride. But the hook is always the same. We believe the feeling is telling the truth. Your emotions are master salesmen. They sell you what you don't need by convincing you it's already yours. Fear sells you safety. Anger sells you justice. Desire sells you completion. And just like a salesman, once you've signed the deal, they vanish, leaving you with the bill. In Buddhist terms, this is tanha, the craving that drives the wheel of suffering. We don't just feel the bait. We finance it with our peace. You can't starve the hook. You have to see it. A Zen abbot once placed a glass of clear water in front of his students. "This is your mind," he said. Then he dropped a spoonful of mud in. "This is desire." The students leaned forward. "Now," the abbot continued, "try to clean it without spilling." They argued about filters, cloth, and patience. He shook his head. "The only way to stop drinking muddy water is to see the hand that stirs it." Recognizing the hook is more powerful than trying to kill every bait. The next time you're pulled toward the bait, whether it's the urge to fire off that text or to click "buy now" at midnight, pause for one breath and ask, "What is this promising me right now?" That question turns the light on in the room. You may still take the bait, but you'll see the hook in its mouth. Once you see the hook, the fisherman loses his power. You are no longer the fish, you are the ocean that can't be caught. This is the heart of Zen freedom, not running from life, but refusing to be reeled in by its shiny lures. Because once you've seen the hook, the next step is even more radical. Stripping the bait of its color, its perfume, its charm, until it's just a bare thing, without the meaning you once gave it. That's where form is empty begins, and where we go next. 4. Form is empty, uncoloring the world without losing its once. What if the thing hurting you is not the thing itself, but the meaning you've glued to it? A neighbor's drill can feel like an attack until you hear it as a rhythm in a song. The sound didn't change. You did. Every day we pour meaning onto things faster than we notice. This is good. This is bad. This is mine. This is a threat. And then we forget the meaning was ours, not the object's. The Buddha called this shunyata, emptiness, not that nothing exists, but that nothing carries your label by nature. Your suffering may be nothing more than a sticker you forgot you put on. In a Zen temple garden, a monk was plucking dandelions from the grass. A young novice frowned. "Master, why destroy them? They're beautiful." The monk smiled. "To me, they are weeds. To you, they are flowers. The grass has no opinion." In that moment, the novice saw it. The world isn't fixed, our labels are. When you drop the label, you drop half the weight. A story from the sutras tells of a man carrying a heavy jar of water across a scorching desert. He cursed the jar for its weight until he realized it was saving his life. Same jar, different meaning. One interpretation drains you, another sustains you. The form, the jar, didn't change. The emptiness is realizing the meaning was never built into the jar. It was painted there by your mind. The world you see is more about your memory than about reality. We look at a chair and see grandfather's chair, not just a chair. That extra layer brings comfort or pain, but it's not part of the wood. Psychologists call it the essence we project. Zen calls it the color of form. And here's the twist. That color changes depending on which self is looking, which means it can never be the absolute truth. If the color can change, the suffering can fade. The Buddha's teaching form is empty, is a tool, not a philosophy puzzle. It means train to see the thing before your stories stick to it. Look at the sound of traffic until it's just sound. Look at the face of someone you dislike until it's just a collection of shapes and colors. When you remove the glue of meaning, the object loses the power to wound you. A meditation teacher once guided his students to listen to a chainsaw in the distance. At first, everyone grimaced at the harshness. "Now," he said, "hear it as the sound of a temple drum." The room softened. "Now hear it as a lullaby in the forest." Some students even smiled. The chainsaw hadn't changed, but their suffering had dissolved. The fastest way to peace is not to fix the world, but to unpaint it. Try this. Pick one ordinary object today, a spoon, a stone, a sound. Watch your mind rush to attach history and meaning. Then gently remove each story until only the raw sensation remains. See how light it feels when it's just itself. When you see form as empty, you don't lose the world, you finally meet it. Emptiness is not a void, it's clarity. It's the moment the fog lifts and you see the mountain as a mountain again, without the shadow of yesterday. The Zen masters say, before enlightenment, mountains are mountains. During practice, mountains are not mountains. After enlightenment, mountains are mountains again. That's the circle, seeing the world, losing it in your labels, and returning to it bare and bright. But even when you strip away meaning and meditation, life will still throw storms at you. A cruel word, a sudden loss, a breaking body. In the next part, we'll learn how to stand like a mountain in every kind of weather without letting the weather define the mountain. 5. Mountain in the weather, responding without reacting. If a storm can't move the mountain, why do you let a stranger's words move your heart? Life will throw wind, rain, and lightning, sometimes in the form of betrayal, insult, or loss. The Buddha never promised the end of weather. He promised freedom from being blown away by it. The true power is not in controlling the clouds, but in becoming the ground they pass over. Your reaction is to the thief, not the event itself. There's a Zen story of a monk who was cursed and spat upon in the market. Instead of striking back, he bowed and kept walking. Later, a disciple asked, "Why didn't you defend yourself?" The monk replied, "Would you accept a gift you didn't want?" The disciple shook his head. "Then why would I accept his anger?" In that moment, the insult vanished like a rock thrown into the ocean. It made a splash, but the water swallowed it whole. Every reaction you give is fuel to the fire that's burning you. Think of the last time you had to reply to set the record straight. Did it free you or deepen the knot? Reaction is a chain. One link pulls the next until you're trapped. The mountain's wisdom is stillness, not absence of feeling, but presence so deep that impulse can't shake it. Pause is not a weakness, it's power in disguise. In the sutras, there's a practice called the 3 breaths. First breath, arrive, feel your feet, notice the air touching your skin. Second breath, allow, say silently, "This is here." Third breath, align, ask, "What would kindness do in the next minute?" By the third breath, the emotional tide has already shifted. This isn't delay, it's mastery. Silence is a sword sharper than any reply. A Zen abbot once faced a crowd demanding answers to a rumor. He simply poured tea slowly and without a word until the crowd's noise died. "Do you see?" he said finally. "The tea cools without my stirring." In that moment, everyone understood. The situation can lose its heat if you don't keep swirling it. If you can stand still in the storm, you can choose your next step instead of being dragged. This is the essence of responding without reacting. The mind is not a puppet to the body's first impulse. You witness the gust, feel its force, but you plant your feet in the earth of awareness. From here, you can act with precision instead of flinching in pain. When a layman asked a Zen master how to stay calm in an argument, the master handed him a cup of water and shook it violently. "When I shake, the water stirs," he said. "If I keep shaking, it spills. But if I set it down, what happens?" The layman watched. The ripples slowed, the surface smoothed. "Your mind is the cup," the master said. "Stop shaking it." Peace is not the absence of storms. It's the skill of not handing them the keys to your house. You will still feel the sting of words, the ache of loss, the heat of anger. But in the mountain stance, you don't let those winds decide your direction. You become a host who welcomes guests without giving them control of the home. Because when you master standing firm in the storm, the final step is to carry this calm everywhere, turning it into a single, unforgettable practice that you can summon in seconds. That's your big reward, and it's where we go next. 6. The one-breath freedom, your pocket key to calm. What if freedom were not years away, but one breath away? After all the teachings, the stories, the storms, there's a truth that every Zen master smiles at. You don't need 1,000 steps to return to yourself. You need one breath. Because the next storm won't give you time for a long ritual. A Zen monk once told his students, "If you can't return to peace while standing in the marketplace, your peace is only a decoration." In that noisy, crowded street, he stopped, closed his eyes for a single inhale, and opened them with a calm so deep it silenced those around him. "This," he said, "is your portable temple." The practice: 1. Pause, drop your shoulders, let the jaw unclench. 2. Feel, name one raw sensation and one feeling tone. Tight chest, warm face. 3. Bow. Silently acknowledge, "I see you. You may pass." This is not pretending you're fine. It's reclaiming the moment before the hook sets in. One breath can break the chain you've been dragging for decades. Think of the last time you reacted and regretted it. Imagine if you had paused for this one breath. The argument might never have flared. The harsh email might never have been sent. That's the power you carry, if you remember to use it. The one-breath freedom is not escape. It's engagement without surrender. The Buddha said, "In every breath, a new world begins." This is not poetry, it's instruction. In one breath, you can choose not to feed the old story, not to chase the bait, not to paint the form. So here's your challenge. For the next 7 days, practice one-breath freedom 3 times a day, once in a pleasant moment, once in a hard one, and once in a neutral one. See how quickly the storm changes when you don't step into it. If one breath can free you, imagine what we could explore together in the breaths ahead. If this journey has given you even a moment of peace, pass it on. Share this video with someone who might need that same breath today. And if you'd like to keep walking this path with me, gently tap subscribe, like, and leave a comment with one word that describes how you feel right now. Your small action could be the ripple that changes another life.